The sky above Zelos Prime burned orange and red as massive ships tore through the peaceful planet's atmosphere. Commander Vexnala pressed her three-fingered hand against the window of the command center and watched her beautiful world die. The crystal towers that had stood for thousands of years crumbled under the alien weapons. The floating gardens where her people had created art and music were now nothing but ash. "Commander, the northern cities are gone," reported her aide. Kel Nara. His voice shook with fear. "The Korthic ships are moving toward the capital." Vexnala closed her large purple eyes. The Zalari had always been a peaceful people. They had never built weapons or trained soldiers. Their technology was advanced beyond most species in the galaxy, but they had used it only to create beauty and explore the mysteries of science. Now that same lack of military knowledge was killing them. "How many ships do they have?" she asked. 200, maybe more. "Our sensors cannot count them all." The Korthic Empire was known across the galaxy as a force of destruction. They conquered planets, enslaved populations, and stole resources. They had destroyed 47 different species over the past 3 centuries. The Zalari had hoped their remote location would keep them safe. They had been wrong. "Commander, we are receiving a message from the Korthic fleet," Kelnara said. "Put it through." The screen flickered and showed a massive creature with gray skin and sharp teeth. War Chief Grakthol looked at her with yellow eyes full of hatred. "Surrender now, Zalari scum? Give us your crystal technology, and we will make your deaths quick." Vexnala straightened her thin frame. "We will never surrender to murderers like you." Grakthol laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Then watch your people burn. We have all the time in the galaxy." The transmission ended. Another explosion shook the building. Through the window, Vexnala could see Korthic fighters destroying the art museums and schools. They were not just conquering Zelos Prime. They were erasing everything the Zalari had ever created. "Commander, what do we do?" asked Kel-Nara. Thought quickly. The Zalari had no military. Their few defense ships had been destroyed in the first hour of the attack. But they did have one thing the Korthic wanted badly, their advanced technology. Maybe they could use it to get help. "Bring up the galactic database," she ordered. "Search for species within communication range. Look for ones that are listed as aggressive or militaristic." Kelnara's hands moved over the crystal controls. "Commander, are you thinking of hiring mercenaries? It is our only hope. Find someone who knows how to fight." The database showed dozens of species, but most were too far away or already conquered by the Korthic. Then one entry caught her attention. It was a small yellow star with several planets. The third planet was listed as inhabited by a species called humans. "What does it say about them?" she asked. Kel-Nara, read from the screen. "Limited information. They achieved space flight only recently. Technology level is primitive compared to most galactic species. But the notes say they are highly aggressive and have a long history of warfare among themselves." "Perfect. How far away are they?" "Close enough for quantum communication. The signal would reach them in a few minutes." Another blast shook the building, and part of the ceiling fell down. Time was running out. "Open a channel to this Earth. Use all available power." "Commander, if we use all our power for one transmission, we will not be able to send another message." "Then we had better make this one count." The quantum transmitter hummed to life, drawing power from the city's main reactor. It was their most advanced piece of technology, capable of sending messages across vast distances instantly. They had built it to communicate with other peaceful species. Now they would use it to call for warriors. "Channel is open, Commander." Vexnala took a deep breath and began speaking. "This is Commander Vexnala of the Zalari people on the planet Zelos Prime. We are under attack by the Korthek Empire. Our people are dying. We have no military and no weapons. We offer our most advanced technology in exchange for military protection. Our quantum computers, anti-gravity systems, and energy sources are yours if you help us. Please, if you can. Hear this. We need warriors. We need soldiers. We need someone who knows how to fight. She paused as another explosion rocked the building. Time is running out. Please help us. A message transmitted across the galaxy in seconds, racing through quantum space toward the small blue planet called Earth. On Earth, Lieutenant Jake Morrison was working the night shift at the Arecibo Communications Array in Puerto Rico. It was a quiet job most of the time. He monitored radio signals from space, looking for anything unusual. Most nights, he found nothing but background noise and signals from Earth's own satellites. Tonight was different. His equipment suddenly came alive with activity. Every screen flashed with warnings as an incredibly strong signal came through the receivers. Jake had never seen anything like it. The signal was clearly artificial and coming from outside the solar system. What the hell? He muttered, adjusting the controls. The signal was in some kind of alien language, but his computer was already working to translate it using pattern recognition software. Jake grabbed his phone and called his supervisor. Sir, you need to get down here right now. We just received what looks like a message from aliens. Within an hour, the small facility was crowded with military officers and scientists. Dr. Lisa Hamilton arrived from the university with her team of linguists. She was a thin woman with gray hair who had spent her career studying ancient languages. Now she was trying to decode the first message from another world. The computer has done a basic translation, she told the group. It's definitely a distress call. They're asking for military help and offering advanced technology in return. Admiral Chris Parker, a tall man with silver hair, leaned over her shoulder to read the translation. Are you sure this is real? This could be some kind of hoax. Sir, the signal came from the direction of a star system 47 light-years away. No human technology could send a signal that far and that strong. This is definitely from aliens. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. First contact with alien life was something humanity had dreamed about for centuries, but nobody had expected it to be a call for help. What exactly are they offering? Asked Dr. Lisa Hamilton. Jake. Read from his screen. Quantum computers, anti-gravity systems, unlimited energy sources. If this is real, we're talking about technology that could advance human civilization by hundreds of years. Admiral Parker thought for a moment, and they want military help in return. What kind of enemies are they fighting? Something called the Korthek Empire. The message mentions they've been conquering species for centuries. Sir, said Jake, there's more. The computer has analyzed the signal strength and origin point. Based on the power required to send this message, these aliens have technology far beyond anything we possess. But they're asking us for help with fighting. That suggests they're peaceful people who don't know how to wage war. Admiral Parker made his decision quickly. I need to brief the president immediately. Dr. Hamilton, keep working on that translation. I want to know everything about these aliens and their enemies. He turned to his aide. Contact Fleet Command. Tell them to prepare the UESA's Defiance for immediate deployment. Sir, are we really going to respond to this message? Asked the aide. Lieutenant, if there are peaceful aliens being attacked by some kind of galactic empire, and they're offering us advanced technology for protection, then yes, we're going to help them. Besides, Admiral Parker smiled grimly, it sounds like these Korthek have never fought humans before. They have no idea what they're in for. Back on Zelos Prime, Commander Vex Nala watched helplessly as more of her cities fell to the Korthek. Assault. The quantum transmitter had used up all the remaining power. Now they could only wait and hope that someone, somewhere, had heard their desperate call for help. "Commander," said Kelnara, "do you think they will come?" Vexnala looked out at the burning sky. "I do not know. But if they do come, I hope they are everything the database says they are. Because if these humans cannot fight, we are all going to die." She did not know that across the galaxy, humanity was already preparing for war. The peaceful Zelari had called for help from what they thought was a primitive but aggressive species. They had no idea they had just introduced the galaxy to its most dangerous predators. 3 weeks after the distress signal reached Earth, the UE Siphians dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Zelos Prime system. Captain Ben Rodriguez stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship and stared at the scene before him. The view made his stomach turn. "Jesus Christ," whispered Lieutenant Amy Chun from her position at the tactical station. "Look at that." 200 massive alien ships surrounded the blue and green planet like hungry wolves circling wounded prey. The ships were huge, each one at least twice the size of the Defiance. They had dark metal hulls covered in weapon ports and strange symbols. Some of the ships were firing bright red beams down at the planet's surface, while others were using giant mechanical arms to strip away pieces of the planet's crust. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships," reported Ensign Danny Kim from the sensor station. "Their weapons are incredibly powerful, and their armor looks thick enough to stop anything we have." Captain Rodriguez was a short, stocky man with black hair and steady brown eyes. He had commanded the Defiance for 3 years and had never backed down from a fight. But he had also never seen anything like this. "How many ships exactly?" 207, sir. All of them bigger than us." "Any sign of the aliens who sent the message?" "I'm picking up some energy readings from the planet's surface. Looks like there are still some cities intact on the southern continent." Rodriguez nodded. "Open a channel to the planet. Let's see if anyone is still alive down there." The communications officer worked his controls for several minutes. "Sir, I'm getting a response. It's weak, but I'm putting it through." The main screen flickered and showed a strange alien face. The creature had purple skin, large black eyes, and no hair. It looked tired and scared. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into English. "This is Commander Vexnala of the Zelari people. Who are you? How did you get past the Korthic blockade?" "This is Captain Ben Rodriguez of the United Earth ship Defiance. We received your distress signal 3 weeks ago. We came as fast as we could." The alien's large eyes grew even wider. You... You came from Earth? The primitive species we contacted?" Rodriguez frowned. "Primitive? Lady, we just traveled 47 light years to help you." "I'd say that makes us pretty advanced. I apologize. I meant no offense. But our records show that your people only recently achieved spaceflight. We were hoping to hire mercenaries, not meet an entirely new spacefaring civilization." "Well, you've got both. We're here to help, and we brought the biggest gun we have." Another alien appeared on the screen next to Vexnala. This one had the same purple skin, but was shorter and stockier. "I am Chief Scientist Morketh. Captain Rodriguez. You must understand the situation. The Korthak Empire has conquered 47 species over 3 centuries. They have technology far beyond what your records suggest you possess. One ship cannot stand against their entire fleet." "Maybe not," said Rodriguez, "but we don't plan to fight fair." Before anyone could respond, alarms started blaring throughout. "The Defiance. Sir, 5 of the alien ships are breaking off from the main fleet," reported Amy Chun. "They're heading straight for us." On the planet's surface, Vexnala watched in horror as the Korthak patrol moved toward the small human vessel. Captain Rodriguez, you must retreat immediately. Those ships will destroy you, not if we destroy them first. Chun, what do we have on those ships? Amy's fingers danced over her controls. They're big and slow, sir. Heavy armor, but limited maneuverability. I'm reading massive energy weapons, but they seem designed for bombardment, not ship-to-ship combat. Looks like they've never had to fight anyone who could fight back. Kim, give me everything you can on their weak points. Sir, their shields seem concentrated on the front and sides. The rear sections look less protected. And those weapon ports are big enough to fly a shuttle through. Rodriguez smiled for the first time since arriving in the system. Chun, prepare missiles. Target their engines and weapon systems. Kim, plot an attack run that keeps us behind them as much as possible. The 5 Korthic ships approached in a straight line, just as they had done successfully for 300 years. War Chief Grakthul watched from his flagship as his patrol moved to swat away what he assumed was a single primitive vessel. This should take only minutes, he told his second-in-command. One blast from our main guns will vaporize that tiny ship. But the human ship did not behave like any vessel the Korthic had ever encountered. Instead of trying to run or surrendering, it suddenly accelerated to incredible speed and dove under the leading Korthic ship. What are they doing? Demanded Grak-Thul. His answer came in the form of 6 nuclear missiles that slammed into the unprotected belly of the lead ship. The explosions tore through the armor like paper and detonated the ship's main reactor. The massive vessel split in half and exploded in a ball of white fire. Impossible, roared Grak-Thul. The human ship was already moving, spinning and diving in ways that seemed to defy physics. It fired another spread of missiles at the second Korthak vessel while simultaneously launching small fighters that buzzed around the larger ships like angry insects. Amy Chun coordinated the attack with the skill of someone who had studied warfare her entire life. Target their communications array, she ordered the fighter pilots. Blind them, and they can't coordinate. The Korthic ships tried to turn and fire, but they had been designed to fight large, slow targets that would stand still and trade shots. The human vessel moved too fast and struck from too many directions at once. Within 10 minutes, 3 of the 5 Korthic ships were destroyed, and the other 2 were retreating with heavy damage. The human ship had not suffered so much as a scratch on its armor. War Chief Grak-Thul stared at his screens in complete shock. In 3 centuries of conquest, no species had ever destroyed even one Korthic vessel. This tiny primitive ship had just destroyed 3 of his best patrol craft in minutes. War Chief, we are receiving a transmission from the human vessel, reported his communications officer. Put it through. Captain Rodriguez appeared on the screen, looking completely calm despite having just fought a battle against impossible odds. This is Captain Rodriguez. I'm sending this message to whoever is in command of this fleet. You have exactly 1 hour to withdraw from this system. If you're still here after that, we're going to start sinking your bigger ships. Grak-Thul found his voice. You dare threaten the Korthic Empire? We have 200 ships. You have 1. Yeah, but ours works better. 1 hour. The transmission ended. On the planet below, Commander Vexnala and her people watched the battle with amazement. In all their recorded history, no one had ever successfully fought the Korthic. The humans had made it look easy. Chief Scientist Morketh, did you record everything? Asked Vexnala. Yes, Commander, but I do not understand what I recorded. The human ship moved in ways that should not be possible. They attacked from multiple directions simultaneously. And those weapons? They used nuclear explosives as conventional missiles. More importantly, said Vexnala, they won. For the first time in 3 centuries, someone made the Korthak retreat. Back on the Defiance, Captain Rodriguez was receiving reports from his crew. Sir, our missiles were more effective than expected, reported Amy Chun. Those alien ships have incredibly thick armor, but it's designed to stop energy weapons, not kinetic impacts. Our nuclear warheads went right through. And their tactics? Asked Rodriguez. Non-existent, sir. They attacked in a straight line with no coordination. It was like fighting ships controlled by computers following a simple program. Ensign Kim looked up from his station. Sir, I've been analyzing their fleet composition. All their ships are the same basic design, just different sizes. No specialized vessels for different roles. No escort ships or fighters. It's like they've never had to develop real military tactics. Rodriguez nodded. Makes sense. If you've been winning for 3 centuries by just showing up with bigger guns, why would you bother learning strategy? The communications officer interrupted. Sir, we're receiving another transmission from the planet. Commander Vex Nala appeared on the screen again, but this time she looked hopeful instead of desperate. Captain Rodriguez, what you have done is impossible. No species has ever defeated Korthic ships in battle. Maybe that's because no one ever tried human tactics before. We've been fighting wars for our entire history. These Korthics seem to have forgotten what real combat looks like. Captain, I must ask ... How many ships does your species have? Rodriguez hesitated. The truth was that Earth only had 47 warships total, and the Defiance was by far the most powerful. But something told him the aliens didn't need to know that yet. Enough, he said simply. Commander Vex Nala, we're going to need to work together. Tell me everything you know about Korthic tactics, technology, and weaknesses. In return, we'll show you how to fight back. Agreed. But Captain, you should know that War Chief Grakthol will not retreat. The Korthic have never withdrawn from a battle. He will call for reinforcements. Good, said Rodriguez with a grin that worried even his own crew. Let him bring friends. We'll show the galaxy what happens when you mess with the wrong species. On? His flagship, War Chief Grakthol, was already composing a message to the Korthic High Command. War Chief Grakthol had not slept since the human ship arrived. He stood in his command center, staring at recordings of the battle that had destroyed 3 of his best ships. His tactical officers had watched the footage dozens of times, but none of them could explain what they had seen. Play it again, he ordered. The holographic display showed the human vessel diving under his patrol ships and firing those strange explosive weapons. The ship moved in ways that seemed impossible, changing direction without slowing down, attacking from multiple angles at the same time. War Chief, our analysts believe the humans are using some kind of advanced artificial intelligence to control their ship, said his second-in-command, Sub-Chief Vraknal. No, Grakthol said slowly. Watch the pattern of their attacks. There is something ... organic about it. This is not a computer making decisions. This is something else entirely. He had conquered 47 worlds over his long career. Every species he had faced followed predictable patterns. They would form defensive lines, concentrate their firepower, and try to match Korthic strength with strength. It never worked, because the Korthic always had bigger ships and more powerful weapons. But these humans did none of those things. They avoided direct combat, struck at weak points, and used tactics that seemed designed to confuse rather than simply destroy. It was like they were playing an entirely different game. Sub-Chief, send reconnaissance drones to study their ship more closely. I want to know everything about their capabilities. Yes, War Chief. On the used Defiance, Captain Rodriguez was meeting with his senior officers in the ship's briefing room. The walls displayed detailed scans of the Korthic fleet and the planet below. All right, people, let's talk about what we're up against, Rodriguez said. Chun, give me the numbers. Lieutenant Amy Chun stood up and pointed to the display. Sir, we count 207 enemy vessels. The smallest ones are twice our size. The largest are 10 times bigger. Their weapons can crack a planet's crust, and their armor is thick enough to stop anything we have in a straight fight. But, Rodriguez prompted, but they fight like morons. No formation discipline, no tactical coordination, no specialized ship types. It's like they've never faced an enemy that could shoot back. Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's science officer, added her analysis. Sir, I've been studying the Korthek communications we intercepted. Their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming force. They show up, demand surrender, and if that doesn't work, they start shooting until everything is dead. Simple and effective, noted Rodriguez. If you're fighting people who don't know how to fight back. Exactly. But Captain, even with their poor tactics, we're still outnumbered 200 to 1. If they all attack at once, we won't be able to handle that much firepower. Rodriguez nodded. Which is why we're not going to let them attack all at once. Kim, what's our communication status with Earth? Ensign Danny Kim looked up from his station. Sir, I've been working on that. The quantum transmitter the aliens gave us specifications for is incredibly advanced. If we can build one, we could contact Earth instantly regardless of distance. How long to build it? Working with the Zalari scientists, maybe 6 hours. Shun, I want you to work with the aliens on integrating their defensive systems with our weapons. If we're going to survive what's coming, we need every advantage we can get. Yes, sir. Captain, the aliens have been asking about our military capabilities. What should I tell them? Rodriguez considered this carefully. The truth was that Earth's entire space fleet consisted of 47 ships, most of them smaller than the Defiance. Against a galactic empire that controlled dozens of star systems, humanity was barely a footnote. Tell them we have reinforcements coming. Let's leave it at that for now. Down on Zelos Prime, Commander Vexnala was meeting with her own council of survivors in an underground bunker. The Korthik bombardment had intensified after their patrol ships were destroyed, and most of the planet's surface cities were now in ruins. Commander, the humans are asking for detailed information about Korthik technology and tactics, reported Chief Scientist Morketh. Give them everything we have. They have already done more to help us than anyone in 3 centuries. But Commander, some of the council members are concerned. These humans seem very violent. What if they are just another conquering species? Vexnala looked around the room at her fellow Zilari. They were a gentle people who had never raised a weapon in anger. The concept of warfare was as alien to them as peace seemed to be to the Korthik. Morketh, the Korthik are killing our children and destroying our culture. If the humans are violent, then perhaps that is exactly what we need right now. But what happens after they defeat the Korthik? Will they become our new masters? I do not know. But I would rather take that chance than watch our people die while we do nothing. Back in space, the human-Zalari cooperation was producing remarkable results. Dr. Maya Patel worked alongside Morketh to integrate Zalari energy shields with human missile systems. The combination was producing weapons unlike anything either species had created alone. Dr. Patel, your people have a fascinating approach to technology, Morketh observed. We build our devices to be as efficient and elegant as possible. You build yours to be as effective as possible, regardless of elegance. Different priorities, Maya replied. We've had to fight for everything we've ever achieved. That tends to make you focus on what works rather than what looks pretty. And your military tactics are equally practical. I have been studying human history through your computer databases. Your species has been at war with itself for thousands of years. Yeah, we're not proud of that. But it did teach us a few things. About combat, indeed. The Korthik have never faced an enemy that understood the art of war as you do. Maya looked up from her work. Art of war? That's an interesting way to put it. Is it not art? You create strategies like we create sculptures. You see patterns and possibilities that others miss. You turn weakness into strength and use your enemy's advantages against them. Before Maya could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Both scientists rushed to the nearest communication panel. All hands, this is the captain. Rodriguez's voice echoed through the ship. Long-range sensors are detecting incoming ships. Looks like our Korthik friends called for backup. On the bridge, Captain Rodriguez studied the sensor readings with growing concern. How many ships, Kim? Sir, I count 800 vessels approaching from hyperspace. They'll be here in 3 hours. 800? Amy Chun whistled softly. That's 4 times their current fleet size. Sir, we're receiving. A transmission from the lead ship, reported the communications officer. Put it on screen. A new alien face appeared, even more frightening than War Chief Grakthul. This creature had scars covering its gray skin and eyes that burned with hatred. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding stone. I am Supreme War Master, Krelvash of the Korthik Empire. You will surrender immediately, or watch this entire system burn. Rodriguez stood up slowly. This is Captain Ben Rodriguez of the United Earthship Defiance. We don't surrender. Ever. Foolish primitive. I have brought the 3rd battle fleet. 800 ships with enough firepower to crack a moon. You have 1 vessel. Surrender now, and I will make your death quick. Counteroffer, Rodriguez said calmly. Turn around and go home. Last warning. Krelvash's scarred face twisted with rage. You dare threaten me? I have conquered more worlds than you have cities. I will personally tear your ship apart, piece by piece. Looking forward to it. Rodriguez cut the transmission. Amy Chun stared at her captain. Sir, 800 ships. We can't possibly fight that many at once. No, we can't. But we're not going to fight them all at once. Sir, Rodriguez smiled, but it was not a pleasant expression. Chun, remember your military history. What did Admiral Nelson do at Trafalgar when he was outnumbered by the French and Spanish fleets? He ... He divided the enemy fleet and fought them in smaller groups. Exactly. And what did General Patton do when his tanks were outnumbered in North Africa? He used mobility and surprise to attack where the enemy was weakest. Right again. Kim, how long until that quantum transmitter is ready? 4 hours, sir. Make it 3. Chun, I want you to coordinate with the Zalari on a very special project. We're going to show these Korthik something they've never seen before. What's that, sir? Human ingenuity. In his command ship, Supreme. War Master Krelvash was reviewing reports on the mysterious human vessel. The more he read, the more confused he became. According to his intelligence, humans were a primitive species that had barely achieved interstellar travel. Yet they had destroyed 3 Korthik ships with apparent ease. War Master, our scouts report that the human ship is moving, said his tactical officer. Where? They appear to be flying directly toward our fleet. Krelvash laughed. Primitives. They think to ram us like some kind of berserker species. All ships, prepare to fire. We will vaporize them before they get within weapons range. But the human ship did not behave as expected. Instead of continuing on a collision course, it suddenly changed direction and dove toward the planet. At the same time, hundreds of small objects launched from its hull. What are those? Demanded Krelvash. Unknown, War Master. 2 weeks after the Korthik retreat, the space around Zelos Prime looked completely different. 47 human warships floated in formation around the planet, their hulls gleaming with new alien technology. The largest ship, the UE's Vengeance. was twice the size of any other human vessel, and bristled with weapons that combined Earth engineering with Cellari science. Admiral Kate Murphy stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, reading reports from across the galaxy. She was a tall woman with red hair and green eyes that missed nothing. She had commanded Earth's space fleet for 5 years, but she had never faced anything like the situation at Zelos Prime. Admiral, we're receiving intelligence reports from the Zelari monitoring stations, reported her aide, Commander Steve Walsh. The Korthik are mobilizing forces across their entire empire. How many ships are we talking about? Conservative estimates suggest 5,000 vessels, ma'am. They're pulling ships from garrison duties across 12 star systems. Admiral Murphy studied the tactical display showing Korthik fleet movements. They're not just coming to retake one planet. They're treating this like a threat to their entire empire. Which it is, ma'am. Word of their defeats here has spread to other species. The Zelari report that several conquered worlds have begun rebelling. On the planet below, Commander Vex Nala was meeting with human and alien representatives in what had once been her capital city. The Korthik bombardment had destroyed most of the beautiful crystal towers, but the Zelari were already rebuilding with human help. Commander Vex Nala, I'd like you to meet Ambassador Zara Johnson, said Captain Rodriguez. She's here to establish formal diplomatic relations between Earth and the other free species in the galaxy. Zara Johnson was a small woman with black hair and a warm smile. She had spent her career negotiating peace treaties between human nations. Now she was humanity's first ambassador to alien civilizations. Commander, it's an honor to meet you, Zara said through the translation device. I've been studying your culture, and I'm amazed by what your people have achieved. Thank you, Ambassador. But I must ask, what exactly does your species want from us? You have saved our world, but surely you did not come all this way simply to help strangers. Zara chose her words carefully. Commander, humanity has always believed that freedom is something worth fighting for. When we received your message, we couldn't ignore people who were being murdered simply because they refused to surrender. But there must be more. Your technology is impressive, but our science is far more advanced. What do you gain from this? Alliance? Knowledge, Zara replied honestly. Your people have achieved things we can barely imagine. Your quantum computers could advance our science by centuries. But more than that, we gain friends. Humanity has always been alone in the universe. Now we know we're not. Chief Scientist Morketh, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. Ambassador Johnson, I have been working with your engineers for 2 weeks. Your people approach problems in ways we never considered. You see solutions where we see only obstacles. What do you mean? Your chief engineer, Tony Garcia, showed us how to use our anti-gravity technology to create faster-than-light communications. We had the technology for thousands of years, but never thought to combine it with quantum entanglement. In 2 weeks, you have created devices that will revolutionize galactic communications. Captain Rodriguez nodded. That's humanity for you. We're really good at taking existing technology and finding new ways to use it. But why? Asked Vex Nala. Why do your people think this way? Because we've had to, Rodriguez replied. Earth is a dangerous place. We've had to fight for everything. Food, water, territory, survival. That teaches you to be creative with whatever tools you have. In the depths of space, Supreme War Master Krelvash was aboard his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds, leading the largest Korthik fleet ever assembled. 5,000 ships stretched across space like a dark cloud of death. War Master, we will reach the Zelos system in 6 hours, reported his tactical officer. Good. Signal all ship commanders. We will. Show these humans what happens when they interfere with the Korthik Empire. Sir, our intelligence reports suggest the humans have increased their forces. They now have 47 ships in the system. Krelvash laughed, a sound like grinding metal. 47 ships against 5,000? Even if each human ship could destroy 10 of ours, we would still outnumber them. But his confidence was shaken by reports from across the Empire. On Gorvuk Prime, the enslaved Gorvuk people had risen in rebellion after hearing that someone had defeated Korthic forces. On Neshan, the conquered Dishans had attacked Korthic garrisons with weapons they had hidden for decades. 7 worlds were now in open revolt. War Master, we're receiving a message from the human fleet, said his communications officer. Put it through. The screen showed a human female in military uniform. She had red hair and cold green eyes that seemed to look right through him. I am Admiral Kate Murphy of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are entering a protected system. Turn around immediately or face the consequences. I am Supreme War Master Krelvash. I command 5,000 warships. You have 47. Surrender. Now, and your deaths will be quick. Counter offer, Murphy said calmly. Turn around now, and we won't have to embarrass you in front of the entire galaxy again. You dare mock the Korthic Empire? I'm not mocking you. I'm warning you. This is your last chance to retreat with whatever dignity you have left. Krelvash cut the transmission and turned to his officers. All ships, attack formation. We end this now. But as the massive Korthic fleet moved toward Zelos Prime, they encountered something they had never seen before. The human ships did not form a defensive line or try to match their formation. Instead, they scattered in all directions, moving too fast for the Korthic weapons to target effectively at the same time. Thousands of small objects launched from the human fleet. These were not the nuclear mines from the previous battle. These were something new. What are those? Demanded Krelvash. Unknown, War Master. They appear to be some kind of automated fighter craft. The small ships moved like nothing the Korthic had ever encountered. They darted between the massive Korthic vessels, firing rapid bursts of energy that targeted specific systems, engines, weapons, communication arrays. Each fighter was controlled by an artificial intelligence that had studied Korthic ship designs and knew exactly where to strike. Sir, we're losing ships, reported the tactical officer. Those small craft are disabling our vessels faster than we can destroy them. How is this possible? They are so small, our main guns cannot target them effectively. And they're coordinating their attacks. It's like they're all controlled by a single intelligence. Chief Engineer Tony Garcia watched the battle from the UES Vengeance while monitoring the performance of his new fighter drones. He was a short, heavy-set man with graying hair who had spent his career solving impossible engineering problems. Admiral, the automated fighters are performing beyond expectations, he reported. The Korthic ships are too big and slow to defend against coordinated small craft attacks. How many have we deployed? 10,000 fighters, ma'am. Each one equipped with Zalari energy weapons and human targeting systems. They're designed to work together like a swarm of insects. On the tactical display, the battle looked like a cloud of angry bees attacking a herd of elephants. The massive Korthic ships tried to swat at the small human fighters, but there were too many moving too fast in too many directions. Admiral Murphy watched the display with satisfaction. Garcia, remind me to recommend you for a medal when this is over. Just doing my job, ma'am. Though I have to admit, it's fun watching those big ships try to hit something they can't even track properly. The battle raged for 6 hours. The Korthic fleet, despite its massive size, found itself unable to effectively fight an enemy that refused to engage in traditional combat. The human fighters disabled ship after ship, while the larger human vessels struck at command ships and supply vessels. From long range, but the humans had learned more than just new ways to fight. They had learned how to turn the galaxy's political situation to their advantage. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy," reported Commander Walsh. 17 different species are requesting alliance with Earth. 17? Yes, ma'am. The hegemony, the collective, the union of free worlds. They're all asking for protection against the Korthic Empire. And what are they offering in return? Technology, resources, intelligence. The gentle collective has offered to share their medical advances. The Scholars Union wants to exchange scientific knowledge. The free traders are offering economic partnerships. Admiral Murphy smiled. "Signal all interested parties. Tell them we're very interested in forming mutual defense agreements." On his flagship, Supreme War Master Krelvash watched his fleet being systematically destroyed by an enemy he could barely see. In 6 hours of combat, he had lost over 800 ships, while the humans had lost only 12 fighters. "War Master, we must retreat," urged his second-in-command. "We cannot win this battle." "The Korthic Empire does not retreat," Krelvash snarled. "Sir, we have reports that the Gentle Collective has declared war on the Empire. The Scholars Union has announced they are joining the Human Alliance." 6 months after the great battle at Zelos Prime, Captain Ben Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the U's Liberation, humanity's first ship built entirely with integrated alien technology. The vessel was a marvel of combined engineering, human, tactical systems merged with Zelari quantum computers, hegemony energy shields, and collective medical facilities. "Captain, we're receiving the final reports from the Korthic Home System," reported Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Brooks, who had been promoted after leading successful boarding actions against 3 Korthic command ships. "What's the situation, Brooks?" "The Korthic capital world has surrendered, sir. Supreme War Master Krelvash was killed 3 days ago when his flagship exploded during the final assault. The remaining Korthic forces are requesting terms." Rodriguez nodded grimly. The war had lasted 6 months and cost thousands of lives on both sides. But it had also accomplished something that no one thought possible: the complete collapse of an empire that had terrorized the galaxy for 3 centuries. "Any word from the liberated worlds?" "Yes, sir. General Nick Turner reports that the former Korthic colonies are establishing their own governments. Most of them want to join the Terran Defense Consortium." "And how many species are we up to now?" 89, sir. Plus the remnants of the Korthic military have offered to serve as auxiliary forces under human command." Rodriguez shook his head in amazement. When he had first arrived at Zelos Prime, he had commanded 1 ship and fought to save 1 world. Now humanity found itself leading an alliance that spanned most of the known galaxy. The transformation had not been easy. Earth's population of 8 billion people was tiny compared to the trillions of beings now looking to humanity for protection. But humans had adapted, as they always did, on Earth. President Harrison was meeting with a newly formed Galactic Council in what had once been the United Nations building. The room was filled with representatives from dozens of alien species, all working together to establish laws and treaties for their new alliance. "Ambassador Johnson, what's the latest report from the outer systems?" Harrison asked. Zara Johnson had become humanity's primary diplomatic representative, coordinating relationships with alien species across the galaxy. "Mr. President, the integration is proceeding smoothly. The Zelari have agreed to share their quantum technology with all member species. The hegemony is providing medical advances that could extend human lifespans by centuries. The Scholars Union is establishing universities on 50 worlds. And the former Korthic territories? That's more complicated. Many of the liberated species have never governed themselves. They've been slaves for so long, they don't know how to build independent societies. We're providing advisors and security forces to help with the transition. Dr. Emma Foster, who had been appointed as Director of Galactic Affairs, added her perspective. Mr. President, we're essentially rebuilding civilization on 47 different worlds. It's the largest reconstruction project in galactic history. The cost, enormous, but the benefits are beyond calculation. We now have access to technologies that will revolutionize human society. Anti-gravity transportation, unlimited clean energy, medical treatments that can cure any disease, quantum computers that can solve problems we couldn't even understand before. President Harrison looked around the room at the alien representatives. And they're all willing to share this technology? They're grateful, sir. For the first time in centuries, they're free to develop their own cultures and technologies. Many of them see humanity as liberators rather than conquerors. But not everyone. In the galaxy was celebrating humanity's victory. In the ruins of the Korthik capital, former Sub-Chief Vraknal was meeting with other surviving Korthik officers in a bombed-out building. The humans have made a mistake, he told the group. They think they can rule the galaxy through friendship and cooperation, but the galaxy is a dangerous place. There are threats they do not understand. What do you mean? Asked another officer. The reports from our deep space monitoring stations. Ships have been detected coming from the Andromeda galaxy. Thousands of them. Whatever is coming, it makes our empire look small. Should we warn the humans? Vraknal considered this. The humans had destroyed his empire, but they had also treated Korthik prisoners with surprising mercy. Many former Korthik soldiers were now serving in the Terran Defense Consortium, using their military experience to help defend the worlds they had once conquered. Yes, he said finally, whatever our differences with humanity, we all live in this galaxy. If something is coming to destroy it, we need to work together. Admiral Kate Murphy was aboard the UE's Vengeance when she received the warning from the former Korthik officers. She studied the deep space sensor readings with growing concern. Commander Walsh, what do you make of these readings? Steve Walsh had become her chief intelligence officer, coordinating information from across the galaxy. Admiral, the signatures. Match no known technology. The ships are massive. Some of them appear to be larger than entire Korthik battle fleets. How many are we talking about? Conservative estimates suggest 10,000 vessels, ma'am. And they're moving faster than anything we've encountered before. Time to arrival? At their current speed, 6 months. But Admiral, there's something else. The trajectory analysis suggests they're not just exploring. They're heading directly for the galactic core, the most populated region of space. Admiral. Murphy felt a chill run down her spine. Just as humanity was beginning to enjoy the benefits of galactic peace, a new threat was approaching that could destroy everything they had built. Signal all fleet commanders. Full mobilization of all consortium forces. And Walsh? Get me a meeting with every species leader in the galaxy. It looks like we're going to need everyone. On Zelos Prime, Commander Vexnala was working in her rebuilt office when she received the emergency transmission from Admiral Murphy. The Jilari leader had become one of humanity's closest allies, serving as an advisor on galactic politics and alien cultures. Admiral Murphy, the Zelari will provide whatever assistance you require, she said immediately. Commander, I need more than ships and weapons. I need information. Your people have the most advanced sensors in the galaxy. What can you tell us about these incoming vessels? Vexnala consulted her quantum computer displays. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. But there are patterns that suggest artificial intelligence control. These may not be ships with crews, but automated vessels. Invasion fleet? Possibly, or something worse. Admiral? Our long-range analysis suggests these ships are not just military vessels. Some of them appear to be designed for planetary engineering. What kind of planetary engineering? The kind that would make worlds suitable for a completely different type of life. Admiral, I believe we are facing an extinction-level threat to all carbon-based life in this galaxy. The news spread quickly through the Terran Defense Consortium. Within days, every major world was mobilizing its military forces and converting civilian industries to weapons production. The humans found themselves not just leading an alliance, but preparing an entire galaxy for war. Chief Engineer Tony Garcia was working around the clock to integrate technologies from dozens of species into new weapon systems. Admiral, we're making progress, but it's not going to be easy. These Andromeda ships appear to have technology centuries ahead of even our most advanced allies. What about our advantages? The same things that helped us beat the Korthik. We think differently. We adapt faster. And we have allies who trust us enough to share their most secret technologies. Dr. Maya Patel had been appointed as head of the Combined Sciences Division, coordinating research efforts across the galaxy. Admiral, we've made some breakthrough discoveries. The Zalari quantum computers, combined with hegemony energy systems, and our own tactical programming have created something remarkable. What kind of something? A galaxy-wide defense network. We can coordinate the movements of millions of ships instantly across hundreds of star systems. The Andromeda fleet may be more advanced, but they've never faced an enemy that could think and act as a single organism. 3 months later, Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Liberation as the first Andromeda scouts entered the galaxy. The alien vessels were enormous, each one the size of a small moon, and their technology was indeed far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel," reported his communications officer. "Put it through." The screen showed something that was barely recognizable as alive. The creature appeared to be made of crystalline structures that pulsed with internal light. When it spoke, the words were translated by computers that had to work overtime to make sense of the alien concepts. This galaxy will be converted for our use. All existing life forms will be processed for resources. Resistance is not possible. Rodriguez looked at the alien with the same calm expression he had shown the Korthik. "This is Captain Ben Rodriguez of the Terran Defense Consortium. This galaxy is under our protection. Turn around now or face the consequences." The crystalline being seemed puzzled by the response. "You are biological entities. We are post-biological. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your technology is primitive. Maybe, but we've got something you don't have." "What is that?"